In 2025, immigration is no longer just a policy debate. It's a street-level movement. Across the United States and Canada, thousands of demonstrators are demanding change, challenging government crackdowns, and reshaping the conversation about who belongs and how nations treat newcomers. This is the story of the protests shaking North America, why they erupted, what's happening on the ground, and how they could redefine immigration for years to come. 1. A sudden surge in U.S. protests. Data collected by Princeton University's Bridging Divides initiative shows an unprecedented spike. Over 700 immigration-related demonstrations have been recorded across all 50 U.S. states in 2025 alone, about 27% of all protest activity, compared with only 3% the year before. The catalyst: the Trump administration's newly intensified deportation strategy, mass removals, fast-tracked court hearings, and large-scale operations like Operation Midway Blitz, launched in Chicago to detain undocumented immigrants with alleged criminal records, ignited outrage nationwide. What began as isolated rallies quickly turned into a nationwide movement. 2. Chicago Broadview. The Flashpoint. One of the most high-profile standoffs is taking place in Broadview, Illinois. Outside an ICE processing center, community organizers, legal aid workers, and local residents have blocked driveways and set up around-the-clock vigils to protest what they call inhumane detention conditions, limited medical care, scarce legal access, and poor sanitation. When federal agents tried to clear the area, protesters reported the use of tear gas and pepper balls, sparking national debate over civil rights violations. The tension escalated when Democratic congressional candidate Kat Abu-Ghazaleh was thrown to the ground during a September demonstration, an incident caught on camera and broadcast nationwide. 3. Human rights concerns and health risks. Beyond legal battles, a new health issue has emerged. Medical experts and protesters are reporting that chemical agents like tear gas may disrupt the menstrual cycle, causing severe cramping, irregular bleeding, and hormone imbalance. While long-term research is limited, the accounts have intensified calls for a ban on chemical crowd control measures, framing them as a violation of international human rights standards. 4. Canada's student-led uprising. North of the border, a different but equally urgent immigration fight is underway. Canada's federal government recently tightened study permit rules, post-graduation work permits, and permanent residency quotas for hundreds of thousands of international students, many already living on tight budgets. These changes could mean deportation or a dead end after graduation. The response has been swift. Student encampments have appeared on major campuses in Ontario and British Columbia. Protesters have blocked highways and staged teach-ins, demanding a clear, fair path to permanent residency. Educators warn that sudden policy shifts threaten the very financial stability of colleges that depend on international tuition. 5. A day without immigrants. In the US, February 1st, 2025 became a pivotal moment. A day without immigrants. Restaurants, construction crews, grocery stores, and delivery services in dozens of cities shut down for 24 hours to show how deeply immigrants power the economy. From Los Angeles to New York, the message was unmistakable. America stops when immigrants stop working. 6. Los Angeles. National Guard on the streets. By June 2025, protests in Los Angeles reached a boiling point. After a series of high-profile ICE raids, tens of thousands marched through downtown, clashing with police. The state governor declared a state of emergency, deploying both the National Guard and US Marines to maintain order. Mass arrests and injuries followed. But the protests only grew, forcing city and federal officials into urgent negotiations with immigrant rights groups. 7. What protesters are demanding. Across both countries, the core demands are remarkably consistent: humane treatment in detention centers, adequate food, water, medical care, and access to lawyers, transparency in immigration enforcement, and an end to surprise raids, fair pathways to permanent residency for students, workers, and asylum seekers, accountability for police and federal agents who use chemical weapons or excessive force. These demands are rooted in a simple principle: human dignity. 8. Government responses. In Washington, federal officials defend the crackdowns as necessary to remove criminal non-citizens, insisting detention standards meet legal requirements. But lawsuits and congressional inquiries are mounting, with several states arguing that federal raids violate sanctuary protections and local sovereignty. In Canada, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, has promised to review feedback. But student groups say small tweaks won't be enough. Universities, worried about both revenue and reputation, are quietly lobbying Ottawa for a policy rethink. 9. Broader significance. These protests go beyond immigration. They reveal how power dynamics are shifting. Marginalized groups are finding their voice, challenging federal authority, and forcing the public to confront uncomfortable truths about race, economics, and national identity. They also raise hard questions. How much force should governments use to enforce border laws? What obligations do wealthy countries have toward people seeking a better life? And will these demonstrations lead to lasting reform or fade into another forgotten chapter? As 2025 unfolds, the US and Canada stand at a crossroads. From Chicago's ICE facility to Ontario's student encampments, immigrants and their allies are showing that they will not remain invisible. Whether this moment becomes a turning point or just another cycle of protest and repression depends on how leaders respond and how long the public keeps paying attention.